He shaped the sound of a generation without ever craving the spotlight. While others danced and dazzled, Benny Andersson built the very foundation of ABBA's music. From silent studios to packed arenas, he witnessed the rise, unraveling, and rebirth of one of pop music's most iconic bands. But Benny's story isn't about sequins or fame. It's about exhaustion, regret, fractured love, and the silences that followed applause. After decades of speculation, Benny has finally spoken, offering a truth that is deeper, sadder, and far more revealing than fans ever imagined. Early roots in Stockholm. Born on December 16, 1946, in Stockholm's Vasa district, Benny Andersson grew up in a working-class household where music was a cherished tradition rather than a career. His father, a civil engineer, and his grandfather, a self-taught musician, introduced him to the accordion at 6. That humble instrument unlocked a fascination with melody that would shape his life. Unlike peers chasing fame, Benny sought understanding. He studied the structure of music, taught himself piano by ear, and could reproduce melodies after hearing them once or twice. By 10, he was already performing for family and school concerts. The making of a musical mind. Benny was never a showman. His gift was emotional sensitivity. In 1964, at 18, he joined the Heap Stars, a Swedish rock band often called the Swedish Beatles. Benny's arrival transformed their sound, and he began writing hits like Sunny Girl and Wedding. These early successes honed his skills in composition, arrangement, and live performance, revealing his rare ability to marry melody with emotion. Beyond music, he learned the technical and commercial aspects of the industry. Even then, he was quietly shaping what would become ABBA's sonic identity, music that was rich, precise, and deeply human. Meeting Björn, a creative spark. In 1966, Benny met Björn Ulvaeus while performing at a mutual friend's party. Björn, already a folk pop musician, shared Benny's love of harmony and arrangement. Their jam session sparked a lifelong musical partnership. Over the next years, they wrote songs together, experimented with structure, and composed for other Swedish artists. Benny and Björn's collaboration thrived on contrast. Benny, the sensitive composer, Björn, the clever lyricist. Their friendship evolved into a creative engine, one capable of producing music that was commercially successful, yet emotionally layered, setting the stage for a group that would redefine pop music. The birth of ABBA. By the early 1970s, Benny and Björn were working closely with Agnetha Fältskog and Annie Fried Lyngstad. The four formed a group initially known as Björn and Benny, Agnetha and Annie Fried, a clumsy name for a powerful chemistry. Despite an early failure in Sweden's Eurovision selection, they returned in 1974 with Waterloo, winning the contest and becoming international stars overnight. Shortly after, they adopted the concise, memorable name ABBA. From that moment, Benny transitioned from musician to architect, meticulously shaping the band's sound in ways that combined pop brilliance with emotional depth, creating songs that were both joyous and melancholic. Sonic perfection in the studio. In the studio, Benny's perfectionism became legendary. He treated every song as a complex painting, layering instruments, arranging harmonies, and experimenting with early synthesizers. He wasn't chasing trends. He pursued timelessness. While Agnetha and Annie Fried dazzled on stage and Björn wrote clever lyrics, Benny sculpted the emotional undercurrents. His work gave ABBA songs their duality, joy on the surface, sadness underneath. Tracks like Knowing Me, Knowing You, and Fernando conveyed depth, beyond the catchy choruses. Benny's craft turned pop music into something enduring, a world built chord by chord, silence by silence, for generations of listeners. Love, fame, and fractures. ABBA's fame in the 1970s was unstoppable, yet privately, the band's relationships began to fracture. Björn and Agnetha divorced in 1979, marking the first public crack. Benny and Annie Fried's relationship ended in 1981. These personal upheavals bled into the music, adding heaviness to albums like Super Trooper. Yet Benny remained the anchor, quietly navigating emotional turbulence while preserving the band's artistry. Behind the glamour and sequins, ABBA was a story of human fragility, exhaustion, heartbreak, and the struggle to balance public success with private pain, all filtered through Benny's music, which carried what words could not: retreat and reflection. After ABBA disbanded in the early 1980s, Benny stepped back from the spotlight. He composed musicals, collaborated with Björn on theater productions, and focused on his personal life. Music remained both his sanctuary and his voice for unspoken emotions. Benny has admitted that songwriting became his way of coping with pain. "I gave my best lines to songs, not to the people who needed to hear them from me," he said. It's a line that reframes everything. Benny wasn't cold or distant. He was human, using music to articulate what he couldn't confront directly. The unthinkable return. In 2018, ABBA stunned the world by reuniting to record 2 new songs. After 36 years, the silence was broken, but not in the way fans expected. Benny and Björn took complete control of production, carefully preserving the band's sonic integrity. The resulting project, ABBA Voyage, combined studio mastery with digital innovation. Using motion capture and avatars, the 4 performers were recreated as their 1979 selves, performing live with a 10-piece band at a purpose-built London arena. It was a new form of concert, technical, emotional, and revolutionary. A digital kingdom. Benny's attention to detail defined ABBA Voyage. Every sound, every harmony, every subtle nuance was perfected. The avatars didn't just mimic performances, they transcended them, creating a live experience unlike anything before. The band declined a $1 billion offer for a traditional tour, emphasizing artistic vision over commercial gain. In doing so, Benny reinforced what has always defined his career: music as architecture, not spectacle. The songs speak, the avatars perform, and Benny's careful construction allows the audience to feel what is essential, even when the creators remain behind the curtain. Music as survival. 78, Benny Andersson speaks openly about decades of emotional restraint. For him, music was both armor and lifeline. The hits weren't just entertainment, they were tools for survival. He acknowledges that ABBA's music never saved them from pain, but it carried them through it. Songs like The Winner Takes It All or Dancing Queen encapsulate joy, longing, and loss simultaneously. Benny's genius lies in his ability to balance these emotions to create timeless pop that resonates because it mirrors real, messy human experience, offering listeners a shared space for understanding and empathy. Legacy beyond stardom. Benny Andersson's contribution to music cannot be measured solely in hits or ticket sales. He created a universe where every note matters, where silence has weight, and where pop songs carry emotional truth. ABBA's enduring appeal rests on this foundation. Benny's recent interviews reveal a man who lived through love, loss, and fame, using music to navigate it all. By finally sharing his story, he offers insight into the fragility behind the glamour and the human heart behind the iconic melodies, reminding us that the most profound art often emerges from survival, not perfection. The man behind the music. Benny Andersson spent a lifetime building a kingdom of sound, quietly shaping songs that became the soundtrack of a generation. While others stood in the spotlight, he mastered the interplay of melody, emotion, and innovation. From the early days in Stockholm to global superstardom and the digital frontier of ABBA Voyage, Benny's journey is one of precision, patience, and humanity. His story teaches us that behind every iconic song lies a person navigating joy and heartbreak. Music, for Benny, wasn't just creation, it was understanding, surviving, and ultimately sharing what words alone could never express.